This video, like a whole bunch on my side channel, is brought to you by what delicious energy formula? That's right, it's Gamer Supps, my favourite. Always, you can get 10% off everything on their store using my alias, Thorin, Thorin, 10% off everything. So that means this one, emotional damage, which is what all the fucking Mavs fans are feeling. I don't know why. I know you were in love with that player. Your team could actually win the championship this year. You could actually get to the finals. For real. Oh, what do I mean by that? Oh, don't worry about it, son. Also, if you're a Laker fan, like, ha ha ha, we played them, ha ha ha. Yeah, well, enjoy having the nightmare you're going to have for the next year or two, by the way. It's going to be an actual hell on earth for you. I'd be amazed if you can get out like the first or second round of the playoffs until fucking Le Egoist is out of that fucking team. So let's get into it. Obviously, fuck LeBron and 10% off Gamersupps, Thorin, at gamersupps.gg. So obviously the Luka Dončić Anthony Davis trade has gone down. Now let's just start with the trade angle, right? Let's do actually reasonable sports analysis from someone who understands the way GMing has worked, because they've actually watched the sport for like, what would I say at this point in time? Over 20 years. I won't say like 30, like when I was a kid, I watched the odd games, but I didn't know what I was doing. I'd say like 20 years where I've been studying the game too. I've definitely studied the history of the game. I've gone back and I've watched most of like the Lakers and the Celtics in the 80s, and even people like Alex English and Dominique Wilkins. So one of the things you have to do when you think as a general manager is you don't think about today only, and you don't think about next year only. You think about the long-term history of the franchise, with a caveat. Sometimes you think about today, and that's going to be relevant now. You think about today in the sense that you want to win the championship. So in theory, all the moves you do are leading you to rosters that can win the championship. And that might mean sometimes you have to trade your best piece if right now you can't get one or two pieces to the championship, because maybe that allows you loads of picks and young players. Then you craft one of them into a star, and then suddenly then you're in a place to trade some other people, and now you can get to the championship. It's happened many times actually. And so I think the angle here is interesting. This is actually very much a today move by the Mavericks. I think that's why all this shit that people, why? How could they keep it secret? You should just tell everyone you're doing it. And fucking hell. People like you can't be helped. You actually can't be helped. You're watching days of their lives. So if we look at the angle for both teams as to why each team would like this move, here it goes. The Mavs were in the finals, but if you saw the way those finals went, forget that Luka was injured. First of all, he was. But you know what? It can't have been that bad an injury. I'm sorry. The way he was moving, it's only mainly like it looked like he saved his energy on defense, but he doesn't play defense that much anyway. Quite frankly, you just can't play that way if you were as super injured as people would sort of claim. I'm just telling you can't. Like, he's not Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, mate. He's not playing on like broken fingers and fucked up ankles. I'm sorry, he just ain't. He ain't. Like, there's a reason he's been out for all these fucking games in regular seasons. It's just obvious. So I could believe he's injured, but I also think you would see something quite similar to that if they played against the same team again. If they play against the Celtics, they will get smothered, eaten up when the fucking Celtics is on offense, and then the Celtics will play good defense against them and just crush them. So that team would never beat the Celtics. Now, I did like the Klay Thompson one. If Klay Thompson had bombed threes in a series like that, that would have made a few of the games more interesting, especially because, obviously, good old Tatum shot like shit, didn't he, in the finals? But you can't actually just assume that's going to happen. One of these days, he's going to turn it on the finals, by the way, and then it's going to be over. It's going to be like a pure Celtics dynasty. I've been telling you that for like 3-4 years. That GM is a fucking god. So, obviously, what the Mavs want is they want a defensive piece and an inside presence to win now. Now, they've already technically tried to get that. The cheap version, the poor AliExpress version of Anthony Davis is obviously Gafford, isn't it? A guy who's going to shoot massively high percentage because he's not taking shots. He's just giving him all the easy ones going to the fucking hoop. He's going to play a little bit of defense, and he's going to rebound the ball, isn't he? And he's going to be really efficient. Hey, you know what? If I've got shooters and I've got all these perimeter players, not a bad piece to add. Nowhere near a star player. So here's what's funny. You've added Anthony Davis, one of the best defensive pieces in the whole NBA. And I actually think if the Pelicans had been better off with this team where he's loaded, he could just be one of the best players of all time because he's a true two-way player. Unlike Luka Dončić, LeBron James, except for that like 4-year span we tried because everyone hated him and he wanted to win DPOY to match Jordan. That's the thing. It's just obvious he is. And also, here's an angle people haven't thought of now. I thought everyone laughing on Twitter like, haha, AD with the Lakers a few days ago asked for like a big and they gave him Gafford. think about you, moron. What he was really saying was, give me a 5 position, a centre. Let me play the 4, because he obviously likes a little bit of the stretch game, and the 2-point is actually where he's unbelievable for a big man. His shooting touch is fucking unreal inside the 3-point arc. Well, the point is he didn't want to have a dominant fucking centre there, did he? He even said, like, I liked it when I had Dwight. Yeah, because Dwight just only goes for dunks and fucking plays defence. So in this scenario, actually Gafford is the sort of player Anthony Davis wants, clearly. As a result, he is going to have someone who won't take the ball from him and will allow him to fucking shoot, and then we'll get the rebound. That sounds glorious. And now you've got 2 big bodies crashing the boards. This is why I know who fucking watches ball and who just comes up with dog shit takes like it's a 1v1 sport or something. Then let's add this in. The reason this move, yes, I agree with you, because of Davis's age and his own injury problems, it does look like, yeah, but you've given up some of the future that Luka would have had. Yeah, that's a future where you might win the championship, but who the fuck knows? Who knows what happens with Kyrie Irving? Who the fuck knows what happens with the league? Like, if you have pieces to win now, you try and win now. That's actually what you do with these trades, like halfway through the season. So the additional implied value that the Mavs are taking is we don't need equivalent value for fucking Luka, because first of all, he can't fucking play right now. We don't even know if he'll sign the Supermax. And then also, we want to win today, this season. We don't want to build anymore. We want to win today. So all that thing of like, you look how old Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis are. It won't fucking matter if they win 2 rings. That will not be relevant, will it? Meanwhile, if Luka goes to the Lakers and is a Laker legend, but he wins 1 ring in 9 years, is that going to be worth it? I think that's a good trade if you're the fucking Mavs. So yeah, you're going to go, you're always taking a contrarian take. No, what I do is I deeply study the game, apply my thoughts and principles, which are actually abstract meta principles about how games work and meta theory. And then it just turns out that, like, cause none of you do that, and you just watch fucking Maury Povich of sports. Yeah, and read shit on Twitter and dickhead players telling you absolute nonsense and know nothing about tactics. Yeah, you then, you have a different opinion than me. You obviously just came up with yours because mine is right and you just decided to say the opposite. Yeah, that's why in CS I just always pick the greatest players and IGLs of all time, and you're wrong over and over again till you see them lift the trophy, and the second the trophy goes above this point in their head, your brain goes, what the hell? I always thought Alexi B, Device, Nico and Simple were the best. Shut the fuck up. Shut your fucking hole. So, speaking of going to the hole, how about this? Anthony Davis will now get more of the ball. You are aware he was actually suppressed by fucking LeBron. Are we having a laugh right now? Did you not watch him when he played for the Pelicans? Did you not watch him when LeBron's out for the Lakers? This guy now can fucking dominate. Like, he is actually going to be contender for best center / big man in the NBA right now. Like, Jokic wins it technically, but he's not even trying to play a big man game, is he? Because here's the problem. This is how I know you're not Laker fans, you're LeBron fans. LeBron just used to fucking not give him the ball, and he would have to stand there watching like, really, bruh? And what would happen is LeBron would just jack up some bullshit 3 or go to the hole and then get mugged and go, what the fuck? Like a fucking cartoon character on a fucking tightrope. When he gets touched once. Bro, you are aware he's built like fucking Gronkowski or something. I think he's even heavier. Like, he's going over from people nudging him like that when he's going to the cop. Bullshit, mate. Even fucking Allen Iverson didn't go down from those knocks. What a pussy. So, LeBron just refused to give him the mid-range, and that is where he's a fucking demon. It was more like some bullshit, like, get the rebound, like, shut your fucking hole. I'd be going to this guy. By the way, I'd also go to this guy late in the game, not LeBron. LeBron can't fucking shoot free throws. I don't know if you know this. Quite literally, Anthony Davis, a big man, is a better free throw shooter than perimeter player LeBron James, who I am told is the fucking GOAT. Free throw, no one's guarding you. If you can't make them, you cannot be the GOAT. I'm sorry, that's how it works. I actually do count that against Wilt Chamberlain. That's one of the main things I count against him, by the way. So I actually think it's a very interesting GM move. I'll give you another set of reasons why it's good. I think Anthony Davis will become an MVP candidate. It's already a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. He is very strong on both sides of the ball. How many big men can you say that for in the modern day, by the way? He is a very good free throw shooter for a big man. His only flaw was that second to last dickhead coach told him to shoot threes, and he shoots threes now. Probably the one part of his game he's not actually good at. He just does that now. So whatever. That's happened in the past. Charles Barkley. We all know some of the people. Fucking LeBron sometimes, but he did get, to be fair, I'll give him credit. The last 10 years, he actually got his 3-point game up a lot. His rebound game is monstrous too, by the way. So now when Kyrie goes in and does some fucking God take Kobe move and he misses, well, don't worry. Rebounds going to fucking Anthony Davis. Defensively, You know, got fucking big men in the way of people going to the hole. In the playoffs, that wins you games because people go to the mid-range still to get the game winner, and then they don't get it because it's really hard to get game winners in the playoffs, isn't it? Unless you have an elite bag in the fucking mid-range. So then you go to the Mavs side, right? Oh, sorry. On the last thing for the Mavs side. The Mavs, I can't even believe the trade was presented this way. It was presented as if like they play the same role and now like Anthony Davis is like the fucking point guard of the fucking Mavs. They have Kyrie Irving, you cretin. They already had an elite primary ball handler who isn't at his peak scoring anymore. That sounds perfect since he can just pass the ball to Anthony Davis inside, and who was already playing second fiddle to Luka Dončić. I already thought, by the way, if you watched recently, look, they have so many players injured. Obviously, they're not going to win most of their games. But Luka's been out since fucking Christmas Day. They've actually won a bunch of games you'd think they have no business winning because they still have pieces. They still have an elite ball handler. So them going to the finals, I'm just going to say right now, overrated as hell. It is overrated as fucking hell. I can't even believe people like act like it was a lock that they were going to get back again. Well, first of all, we just pretending the Mavs, the Nuggets don't exist. And we pretend all those Western Conference teams just don't exist, bro. Like, I'll tell you right now why I can't handle it. The first series of the playoffs, did you watch it? Did you fuck? They almost, for real, lost to the fucking Clippers, who, remember, is a super team where, like, literally people were just going injured who were their superstar players. Their team was banged up as fuck. They required, like, hero ball from James Harden, and eventually just gunned himself out the series. That's why they got fucking beaten, the Clippers, and it was still 6 games. Fucking hell, you think that team's going to win the NBA? Then they had the series against the Thunder. The Thunder's just too young at that point in time. They're just too young at that point in time. Then you go to the Timberwolves. I'll give them that one. That was dope. But here's the problem. Timberwolves actually had no business being there. If you look how the Timberwolves were built, they were built by a GM who was like, I think the Nuggets could be the dominant force in the West for a while. What if we had like a really big defensive line with like big men who can play help defense? And then we also, we have like Anthony Davis, by the way, as a fucking primary attacker. And then that'll basically nullify some of the Nuggets. It worked. It worked. Jokic would have had to play like 10% better than usual to win that series. And people like Murray just went fucking missing. Because you know what? Murray is who you pretend Kobe was for the first three-peat of the Lakers. Actually, Kobe was only like Murray, sort of maybe in 2000 the first year. After that, he was one of the absolute 5 best players in the NBA, which Murray has never fucking sniffed. But I'll tell you what, he can hit a mid-range game to win can hit a mid-range shot to win a game, can't he? So I actually think the Wolves also could have played way better. For some weird reason, Karl Anthony Towns just decided he was a shooter again and refused to play a post-up against fucking essentially mouse in the house type shit on the fucking side. Because remember, they didn't have the big man at that point in time on the Mavs. So then you go to the Lakers side. This is why it's great for them. Even then, debatable. It's great because now you have, I would say, a top 5 player when he's healthy. We're going to get to this later. People are so overrating this fucking player because they don't watch the other side of the ball. They're just fucking bozos who watch. I like to watch him play hero ball when the ball goes in. I don't find it very satisfying when the ball doesn't go in and he just jacks the threes from the fucking logo. That's not actually how you win championships, by the way. There's a reason why the mid-range will still win you games. Even Steph Curry showed you that. You can't just bomb threes from long range and win the game. That's not a thing. Did Dame and fucking Steph win a load of championships just doing that? No, they had elite mid-range players, and they definitely did not just jack threes all the time at the end of the game, did they? Especially not when down 2, for fuck's sake, the NBA. So the Lakers now get a piece they could build around for 10 years and replace LeBron very soon. Now, here's the problem. This is what people are missing. Everyone cheering, yay, with the Lakers, yay! Here's what you're missing. 1, LeBron is going to be gone. So already, by the way, when he leaves, do you imagine you get anything back for that? No, that's the end of that point. So you don't get any trade value for LeBron. You do get that, right? So at that point, you have to now spend. And now you have to get a star to come and play with Luka. Who's it going to be? Look, you are the Lakers. So you'll probably get someone, won't you? Here's the problem. The Lakers already was sus, right? They weren't that good defensively, but they were all right this season. They've got a little roll going recently. They are going to be utterly fucking dog shit when Luka comes back. Do you know why? There's only one ball, and they both play hero ball. 2 of the people who play inefficient hero ball right now at the end of games is Luka Dončić and LeBron. They both play as if they're already imagining the ESPN Sports Center highlight of them winning the game. Like, and here you have them, Lakers down by 2. Luka from the arc, he hits the 3, he's hitting it up for the fans. But the problem is then when it misses, clank, then they're just like, well. And then you know what's even worse? I'll tell you one of the reasons they bang the threes from way outside. Because when they go inside, they are average/underwhelming free throw shooters. They're actually underwhelming. They're fucking perimeter players. You're telling me are GOATs. They're all NBA players. Well, admittedly, LeBron hasn't been all NBA for a while. They're all NBA first team type players, right? And then let's just put this in there. They're both average as fuck on defense. And you just lost your rim protection and shot blocker. Are you having a laugh? The Lakers are going to get fucking destroyed. Now, luckily, that will allow Luka to just take fucking 30 shots a game if he wants. If LeBron lets him have it. And if LeBron chooses to take the ball all the time, Russell, Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, keep going down the fucking line, everyone basically, then actually Luka's numbers will go down and suddenly he won't have those crazy numbers you've been loving him averaging for all these years. So let's get into it, right? The obvious reason this trade is bad has nothing to do with any of the shit I've said above. It's that neither of them are fucking healthy. Neither of them are healthy players. I'll quickly show you on fucking screen. Let me just show you something. And this is how I also know you don't watch the fucking NBA. You just have opinions. It's crazy. You don't watch the NBA. You don't know what you're talking about. Right, so watch this. This is Anthony Davis. Now, everyone who knows Anthony Davis, because he's played for the Lakers, knows he actually is like prime Shaq in the sense that he can't fucking stay in the game. It's a problem with big men, by the way. If you don't know, you're not supposed to be that tall. It puts undue strain because your weight tends to be more. Your muscles are bigger. It puts undue strain on your ankles, and it just tends in a sport like basketball where you're jumping and landing on them with like shock fucking absorption into your ankles and your knees to fuck up your knees and your ankles. That's just the problem. That's why very few big men think fucking, Yao Ming. Think about how many big men just couldn't keep their shit together. So you go down to here. This is your problem, right? This is a guy who plays 60 games on average. A couple of times, the best times ever, he's 65 and 67, 65 and 76, 75 and 76. He's had seasons where he's played 36, 40. It's fucking outrageous, right? But this season, admittedly, he's gone in. It's all good. Now, first of all, miss me with that. He's 31. You've all just spent the whole time telling me how godlike all these players are who are like 36 and 37 and can still ball and like do these sorts of numbers. So I don't know why we're now pretending it's 1980. That means he has to retire tomorrow. So, oh no, he can't get healthy. Well, then let's hope that a guy way younger than him, who you've been worshipping and every season gets all NBA first team, is putting up like 70 games a season. Oh, what's that? What's that? Luka Dončić has only twice in his entire career gotten 70 games in a season. One was his rookie year as a 19-year-old, and then another was here. And by the way, I'll tell you something about why the whole, he's 25, you sick fuck, shout out to that meme, doesn't even work, because he's not 25, is he? He's a guy who played in the fucking EuroLeague since he like fucking could put a jersey on. The wear and tear on this guy's way more than a 25-year-old. He's going to have a Kobe-type career, by the way, where when he's like 35, that's when you're going to see him have like the serious fucking shoulder strain, the knee injury, etc. So let's have a look here. What's that? He is never doing it. Interesting. Let's look at minutes per game. Are you having a fucking laugh? Look at the minutes per game. Same with Anthony Davis. So these guys just cannot stay healthy. That's why it's a stupid move. The actual move on paper, though, it's fine. It's not even that big a problem. So let's get into it. Because I made my tweet when this happened. I said, Mavs GM gambled on the other ball handler, Kyrie Irving in this case. The team was potentially very good, but as shown last year, had serious defensive issues. And by the way, Klay Thompson doesn't fix that for you. He can play defense. He definitely used to when he was young on the Warriors. He's not some defensive like lockdown player though. Davis will be an MVP candidate. I really think that. Huge gamble. It's obviously one of the biggest gambles ever, but that's what the sport is about. The sport is about trying to win the championship. The Mavs have won one championship, and they won it in part because the dickhead LeBron decided to play one of the shittest finals ever seen in the history of a fucking superstar player in his prime. No GOAT candidate player in his prime was ever more of a bomb in the finals than LeBron in that finals, and that's why the Mavericks barely won one with fucking Jason Terry and JJ Barrera having life fucking series. Are you having a laugh? It's even made Dirk Nowitzki over it at this point in time, because he's a very good player and he could have won championships on more stacked teams, but he wasn't some 1v9 player like people make out. He just had an amazing run there. So that was my take. Now already there's a million angles on all of this that we can get into. So first of all, we'll do this amazing tweet below where he goes, whatever Dončić is, just tell me, bro. AD just isn't. Oh, let's lock into this. By the way, someone who, remember, is German, was a Lakers fan, presumably because Kobe was there. And since he is German, I'm going to go ahead and guess he was a fan of the Mavs because they had Dirk Nowitzki and that he sort of sees Luka as an ex-Dirk Nowitzki. You know all the narratives that have been going around. He goes, he just doesn't have it. Bro, if Luka has 8, could he just use some of that like genius IQ and fucking hands, and can he just play some defense, please? Defense isn't even about talent. It's about fucking hustle and intelligence and watching film and not using all your energy heaving 35-yard shots and then finding like James Harden. You know what? Actually, I've just go by Matador defense. They might make the finals, which is not close to a given. It wasn't close to a given before, bro. I mean, remember, they didn't even have Luka. Yeah, they might make the finals, but they lose out on their new Dirk in favour of a mediocre franchise player. By the way, by that logic, Dirk's a mediocre franchise player. Because we're talking franchise players, if we're talking in the last like 25, let's say 25 years for Dirk roughly. I'll give him the first couple of years off in the NBA. If I'm going to rank the franchise players in the last 25 years, watch, I'll do it really quickly for you. We're going to go Kobe, LeBron, D-Wade. We're going to have, technically Shaq was there, but we'll ignore that. We'll say Kevin Durant. Who else would I go at this point in time? Kevin Garnett. Tim Duncan, sort of. We can get the 6 there. Who else are we going with beyond that? I won't say Dwight was, even though, look, he certainly could be a franchise player, but he's not a tie up on my list. Who else have we got? Chris Paul. I think, by the way, I'll say then you get to sort of like Dirk Nowitzki down there with the Carmelo Anthonys. Who else are we putting him with? Who else do I think? James Harden. Luka could be right there. I think they're both on the same level. So it's like, he's the new Dirk. The idea Anthony Davis sucks. Not even capable of carrying the torch over a 40-year-old LeBron. LeBron doesn't give him the ball. LeBron literally just shoots the ball. You are aware of that. Maybe you're not. I've seen what this guy can do when he just got the ball all the time in the Pelicans. It was like literally some Wilt shit, but with better numbers, better efficiency. This trade stinks. Okay, cheers. So, since neither's healthy, I don't even really know why we're also ignoring another factor. It's more concerning Luka isn't healthy because he's the fucking perimeter player and he's younger and the ball handler. This guy doesn't have to handle the ball. He's just this fucking guy who just plays the fucking 4 and the 5. You can actually still win a game if he doesn't appear in the game. You could only do that with the Mavs because they had Kyrie Irving. By the way, I made a video in the past. I never thought that trade made sense to have 2 primary ball handlers. I told everyone the Suns one wouldn't work out. You got like fucking 3 primary ball handlers. What are you doing? You can only have that other one if it's like what Russell Westbrook does, where he actually humbles himself and just sort of plays off the bench or plays second fiddle totally to you. So let's get into it for a second, because I've got a whole bunch more I can look at. Luka Dončić is overrated. Now, just leave that there for a second. Let that marinate. Now, you've all just gone because you actually want to get outraged at stupid shit like a little kid. Like I just said, your dad is ugly. You're all going, see, you're saying he's not good. She never did this. She did. Oh, let be it. No, I said he's overrated. So the question is, how do you rate him? You're all telling me he's like the best player in the fucking NBA. You've all been telling me he's the MVP for the last 5 seasons. He isn't. I would never have given him the MVP. I would have given it to fucking Jokic every season. Giannis sometimes. I don't think I would give it to Joel Embiid personally because he's a bitch. Who else? See, I wouldn't even have given it to SGA. I did think he was good, but I just think he's a better, more efficient, taller version of Allen Iverson. So I don't know that there's many other players I would give it to at that point in time. I definitely wouldn't have given it to LeBron. That goes without saying. He is not God tier, despite what people are telling me. He plays in the most inflated scoring era ever. He has average defense. By the way, he has bad shot selection late because he wants to be the hero, and he is injured all the fucking time. You know what? LeBron did this, except he wasn't injured. He just sat out of the games. LeBron basically sat out of like a third of his games for like 10 plus years. And then as a result, think about that. A third of 10 would be like 3 and then added like a whole bunch more years to his longevity. That's weird. It's almost like Kobe and Jordan just played every fucking moment till they dropped or were pulled by the coach. They weren't like, I'll sit down now. I'm load managing. So it's fucking fugazi as fuck. Even the numbers he has, can you actually just play a whole season? You are aware, 66 out of 82. I wonder why it'd be easier to pump your numbers up if you didn't play the extra, like 18 games or whatever it is, 14 games. Give me a fucking break. I think Anthony Davis is underrated. I think he can be one of the best big men ever. By the way, I made a video on this channel already. It was about how he was godlike when he was on the Pelicans. His issue was obviously health, but you're just trying to win now. You just hope you get a couple of seasons now where he's good enough. Right, watch this. This is how you act like an actual piece of shit when you have all the data, but you obfuscate and omit data to make a storyline appear real that you know isn't real. So what they do is list all the positives of Luka Dončić with none of the downsides. And then at the end, they make it a cynical, the least information possible of what the trade was. You go Luka Dončić at the age of 25, 5-time All-Star. By the way, who gives a fuck about fans voting you an All-Star game? 5 times first team All-NBA. Okay, that's legit. Rookie of the year. Who gives a shit about that, by the way? That doesn't help you now. Second time all-time in playoff point per game. By the way, you say that like he's played for like 15 years or something. Third all-time in points per game. Again, hasn't he played like 6 seasons or something? 6th all-time in playoff triple-doubles. Okay, that's good. 7th all-time in triple-doubles. Yeah, that's good. Traded for a pick and a 31-year-old. As though what the Lakers gave to the Mavs was they said, right, you can have a draft pick and then, I don't know, here's a 31-year-old. Wait a minute, you mean the 31-year-old where if I did all this shit here? So let me think, where would it be? Let's go do that same thing, right? The 31-year-old, that by that logic is a 9-time All-Star, 3-time blocks leader, champion of the NBA, 5-time All-NBA, also All-Rookie by that logic, 5-time All-Defensive, and he was literally voted recently one of the 75 best players to ever play basketball. Just going to ignore that, are we? That doesn't just sound like a 31-year-old. That sounds like a very fucking good 31-year-old, doesn't it? How does that work, eh? It's almost like these are just pieces of shit, just rabble-rousing to get attention and clicks. Oh, look, they got the views and they got the clicks. My bad. My bad. Then there's another one here. This guy, who apparently is like a fan of the fucking Mavs, goes in football terms, trading Luka Dončić, and who gives a fuck about the other people, for Anthony Davis, again, skip that, would be like trading Josh Allen, one of the best quarterbacks now, and Curtis Samuel to the Steelers for TJ Watt. Because what he's done there is he's taken like a quarterback, which is like Luka, the point guard, and it's like trading him for an elite defensive player. At least he's given Anthony Davis his due. Except here's the problem. TJ Watt doesn't play on offense, and Josh Allen doesn't play on defense. So it doesn't matter that Josh Allen wouldn't be a good defender, and it doesn't matter that TJ Watt can't score points except for as a fucking defender. So already the analogy doesn't work. But even then, that doesn't work. So I'll give you an example of how I could have done the same thing and actually made the context in the NFL fairer. So here's what you do. It's like if Matthew Stafford also played on the Bills, so you had another formerly elite ball handler who could come in and play quarterback and took snaps already, so you know he can use your offense. And everyone is acting like the Mavs have nobody to pass AD the ball. It's the future that's the gamble due to age. Now let's do what I think is the last part, which is the Kevin Durant part. And I'm going to bang on these idiots now. So Kevin Durant, insane. It's crazy, crazy. Get ready. Players are held to a different standard of loyalty and commitment to a program, but the organizations don't get held to that same standard from the outside. Right, get ready. This guy is not only a fucking idiot. What does he know about economics? What does he know about general managing, except how to ruin teams like LeBron? And also, he is a known guy who has even said he has played while high, by the way. He's just oh no, bro, let me get on my burner. My burner with a burner. You'll be hating on me and Westbrook. He is good. Can I have a trade away from Westbrook, please? Get me the fuck away from him. Taking all my shots now. This guy is one of the most entitled athletes I've ever fucking seen in my life. Do you know why, Kevin Durant, that there is a different standard of loyalty for the organization, aka your employer, than you, an employee? It's because they're the fucking employer, you imbecile. There is an asymmetric relationship. This is not communism. It will never be equal, will it? It's fucking rich as well, by the way, coming from a guy who left like 3 franchises in his wake, broken beyond oblivion. You're having a fucking laugh. So think about this. When you're the employee under contract, you do what your boss says. When you're the fucking org, you don't have to be nice in the same way and have the same loyalty. Why would you? And also, that loyalty is completely fake, what he just said. Players should have more, players are expected to be more loyal, says one of the most disloyal players to ever play in the NBA. This is a guy who fucking got mad at the bloody Warriors who had given him a dynasty. and was still like, I'm leaving. Then he went to the Nets like, yeah, let's make super teams and ruin like 3 other franchises to make a super team. What's that? You're all injured. It doesn't work. Haha, via con Dios. Time to go do the same thing with the Suns. What's that, Bradley Beal? You could have been an all-star elsewhere in a team. Come join my super team. I like to not only take all the all-stars and superstars, I like to then just be really good myself, but then run it into the ground. And when it doesn't get that good, like LeBron, you know what? This team's sort of fucking holding me back. It's shit. Let me go to a new untied... Oh, I see why you're a communist, mate. That's what they do. They leave the communist country where it's a nightmare, come to the West, and then go, let me spread my commie bullshit and turn this into a communist dystopia. Sorry, I meant utopia. Right, here's why his loyalty is completely fake. His career proves it. Do you know what would be the dumbest thing ever? Is if Luka didn't sign the Supermax and eventually he left and then he left for nothing when his contract ran out. Because here's the thing, fuck your narratives. Oh, but they love him. He loves them. Oh, he's the next jerk. He wants to be a Mav forever. He's going to have a statue. Listen, that all works until it doesn't. So when you go with those narratives, let's imagine Luka just decides at the end of his contract, actually, I just want to leave. Well, he'd be a free agent. So he could literally walk out the door. You get zero value in return. You've invested all that in all these years. You've brought players in around him. You brought in Kyrie Irving. You brought in fucking Gafford. You brought in Klay Thompson. You brought in the fucking coach. You brought everyone in. And then when he leaves, if he left and then went to sign a massive deal with someone else, including the Lakers, what would you all say? Kevin Durant and fans. You'd all go, he is a free agent, bro. That's his prerogative. You don't know the word, but you would if you were smart. That's his prerogative to do that. Well, then this is their prerogative because they have him under contract paying him more money than God. So they get to choose, if they don't think he's part of their future, to sell him now and trade him for something else that they want. They can do that. That's totally theirs. You can disagree with it. You can not like it. If you're a Mavs fan, yeah, I get it. It sucks. That was probably your favourite player. You thought it's going to be your favourite player for the next 10 years. You're probably not a big fan of Anthony Davis, are you? Or Lakers in general. Maybe you didn't want Kyrie Irving to be your star player. That's all valid. You could all have those opinions. You can also think the trade sucks, by the way. I think it does in the sense both players aren't even fucking healthy. So who even knows if any of them win the championship at this point in time? But I think people like Kevin Durant, what a fucking cretin. And then that thing of like, everyone in the league is saying like, oh, this doesn't make sense. What's going on? Well, one, if this actually wins the Mavs the fucking championship, yeah, the other teams aren't going to be like, brilliant move, go and win the championship without us. And then secondly, all those other ones, hey, what, you should have let us have a bid. Oh, wait a minute. I thought Luke was never allowed to leave the Mavs and that would never be a good deal. But they were like, this sucks because I didn't get a chance to put my bid in because I wanted to take him. Yeah, exactly. And then also, there's that whole fucking angle that you're all going with, like, look at all these players, like, what are they doing? This is the worst trade ever. Yeah, like I give a fuck what some basketball player actually thinks. You are aware, by the way, some of those basketball players who are even stars and even have like in-game IQ, they would fail that 50 Cent Floyd Mayweather challenge. You remember when he told Floyd Mayweather, I'll pay you like $100,000 or something, or $1 million if you just read a page of a Harry Potter book? They'd fail that. I mean, the joke is LeBron would get the money for the first page, but they'd never read more than the first page, would he? So he wouldn't get that. You get what I'm saying on that one. So anyway, I think this is actually one of the most insanely overblown reactions I've ever seen. I understand emotions involved. It's still the same day. But man alive, people aren't even attempting to engage their brain on this one. This video and the others on my channel were supported by the people on my side channel Patreon. Do you want to choose a topic I focus on next? Maybe ask a question in my regular video AMA? Do you want teasers? Find out who the upcoming guests are for Thor Inquiry interviews? Do you want to take part in a never to be released, exclusively recorded 1 hour discussion between me and you, which actually you could also use for consulting or some sort of coaching if you'd like? Well, if so, heed this call to action and join Thorin's side today, where in the description box there's a Patreon link.